You're listening to Not Your Sister podcast.
Yes, we're both redheads.
No, we're not sisters. I'm not your sister, Christine.
And I'm not your sister, Amanda.
We're going to start by apologizing for the first episode.
We had some mic technical difficulties.
Yeah, I guess it was my fault, apparently. I was performing with my mic completely off.
But it was only for 20 minutes, so the first 5 minutes and the last 15 were pretty good.
So you can save your comments for the audio. If the audio sounds bad on this, that's what we need to know.
Yes. All right. So in this episode, we are going to talk about our near-death experience. I guess we could just jump right into it.
Yeah, there's no other way. Really?
We were coming from Everett, Washington, because we had just gone to a Billy String show. We had actually just done 2 shows that week. So we're high on life, and we're headed to Mount Rainier. We want to tell it in each of our perspectives to kind of really give you the full picture. So why don't you start since you were driving?
Okay, so we were driving down I-90, going probably, at the peak speed was probably about 80 to 85. And it was time to get off, so I was starting to merge over to the right to the exit. And the exit was like a down ramp. And if you looked ahead, there was a red stoplight and it had about, I would say, 15 cars backed up.
I'd say.
At a dead stop. So they're backed up on the hill.
At a red light. Yeah.
At a red light, which makes the area between where the last car was and the exit very, very short. And so I'm slowing down. I'm pumping the brakes like normal. I never ride them to heat them up or anything. So I'm slowly pumping them. Mm-hmm. And it's it feels like they're really soft. Mm-hmm. So I'm pumping, and then all of a sudden I push hard and they go completely to the floor.
No resistance.
Absolutely no resistance. And we're flying towards 15 stopped cars. And I'm pumping them as hard as I can. And then my foot was completely to the floor and they were just completely gone. So in the moment, it all happened very quickly, but in the moment
it felt like forever though. When it was happening, it felt like it was never going to end.
It was terrifying, truly. Because all I could picture in those 30 seconds, however long it was me barreling at 70 miles an hour into 15 parked cars full of people.
Yeah.
Which is basically what would have happened had I not acted quick. And I looked over to, there was a turning lane on the right, and there was no one in there, thankfully. So I quickly swerved over to the right. I don't think I even looked. I don't even think I used my blinker, didn't look in my mirror, nothing. I just swerved as quick as I could over to the right-hand lane.
Yeah.
And then I remember so vividly, I was wearing sunglasses, and I lifted my sunglasses up, and I looked down, and I saw where the emergency brake was, and it was my only shot to hit it. And I punched it with my foot, and it came to a stop. It wasn't a screeching halt like you would imagine.
Right. I was shocked by that. It was a gradual stop, as if you were letting on the brakes.
Yeah, which is probably a safety feature, really. Because if we had gone pulled the parking brake,
and it was
we would have been poof, poof. How were you feeling during this?
Well, so the way that I experienced it, I was texting because I wasn't driving. So we had been driving for a couple hours, would you say? Or an hour and a half?
It was an hour and a half because we were supposed to drive 4 hours, 3 or 4. So
we were an hour and a half in. We still had time left. I was in my own world doing God knows what. And all of a sudden, she yells, "Oh, fuck." So I look up because I was disrupted. And I look up to see what the fuss is about. And her knee is literally going from her chin to the floor over and over. Both legs, both knees, like she was a cat needing something. Pushing, yelling, "The brakes just went out. The brakes just went out."
Oof.
Oof is right. I was so terrified in that moment because I'm watching us going 70 miles an hour, barreling at 20 parked cars.
With people in them.
And I'm not in control. I'm not driving. So in my mind, it kind of goes blank because I can't do anything. So I'm just really
You just
bracing
braced for impact.
I can't do much else. So that is kind of how I experienced it. And then thankfully, when she hit the e-brake, it slowed and it didn't slam. It just kind of slowed down.
And then we just sat in that turning lane for like 5 minutes.
And in my mind, it just kept replaying her legs pumping up and down, yelling, the brakes just went out. The brakes just went out. We don't have any brakes.
Terrifying.
We don't have any brakes. I was so scared. I mean, we both were. We were genuinely shaking for like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my foot was like, or my whole entire leg like was nonstop shaking.
Yeah.
Like my brake foot.
So now we're on this downhill and we stopped.
Yeah, and then the next thing was like, okay, we're like, we didn't just get in a 15 car pileup and kill 20 people. But now what do we do?
We have no brakes.
We can't drive anywhere. It's like a suburb residential area. And, you know, we're not familiar with the area at all. So it's not like we can just... That was the other thing. I was like looking at the map. I'm like, where can we pull to that's like a parking lot? And there was like a Target a mile up the road. But I'm like,
we can't go
how could I possibly risk going a mile away when I have no idea what the road looks like? It could be a downhill. Like, it was just like we had to pull over somewhere immediately and get off of the road. So I released the parking brake, which thankfully released, because sometimes once you hit them, they seize up and they won't release, which could have been a whole nother disaster. But it released and we kind of coasted down the hill. I was able to get far enough where I saw like this big shoulder, which ended up being a bike lane. Mm-hmm. And we pulled over there. It was like pretty close to where we had avoided death. And
very close.
We just parked and like sat there for a minute. And I was like, okay, well now we've got to get a tow truck here because there's no way we can drive this thing.
It was a beautiful day out if you were going to be at the water
in a pool.
Or in a pool. But we weren't. We were cooking in a camper.
98 degrees.
Our thermostat said 98 degrees. And we sat here, spoiler, for 8 hours. In 98 degrees.
Pouring sweat on the phone non-stop, trying to figure out what our plan was. So I called my brother.
That was the first call.
Yeah, that was the first call because I was like...
Oftentimes her brother has been our first call.
Yes, in tragedies. So I call him, I told him what just happened, and he's like, okay, we'll look underneath the hood. So I pop the hood open, I see the brake fluid immediately is like really low, which I've been checking all the time. I got underneath the car and saw it was pouring out of the brake line.
Yeah.
And I saw where it got detached. Basically, it started leaking once it blew out.
Yeah.
So he told me to get under there, and I saw exactly where the brake line had blew. Then we knew what was wrong with it. Then we called AAA because we're like, we have to get it. Well, first we were deciding, should we get a mobile mechanic?
We called a bunch of different places to try and figure out, because obviously we wanted to find the most cost-effective but also safe way to handle this. So we started calling around to mobile mechanics to see if someone could come out and fix them. That was before we... Was that before we knew it was the brake line when we...
No, well, that was the thing. I think I called my brother to see if he thought we should just have it towed or if the mobile mechanic was a good idea.
Yeah. And the thing with the mobile mechanic was, a little context, it was a Saturday. So everything is closed, and any of the things that are open, the chances of them working on RVs is pretty slim. So the thing with the mobile mechanic is they charge hourly. It's a 2-hour minimum. I would assume they're all very similar.
Yeah.
A 2-hour minimum for this one that we did call. And they don't guarantee that they can fix it. So we could have them come out there. It was $185 an hour.
Yeah.
2-hour minimum. And they didn't guarantee that they could fix it. But you have to pay anyway.
Yeah. So we decided against that.
Right. Because once we realized it was the brake lines, we didn't know if that was something that they were going to have the parts for. If we were going to have to wait for them to get parts, there was no point in even doing a mobile mechanic. We may as well just go to a shop.
Right. So then that's when we called AAA. if you have AAA, usually when you break down on the side of the road, you're like, oh, it's okay, I have AAA. They'll help.
You don't even feel like you really have to worry because you pay for this service that makes it so you don't have to worry because AAA is there for you.
Well, they weren't.
They were not there for us.
We call them, then we get the first representative who I'm not sure if it was her first day or she's just not really versed in like the protocols or anything that she was doing or talking about, because all I was trying to ask her was, what is, as far as towing, what is AAA going to cover? Because towing is not cheap typically.
Right, because when you have AAA with a car, you get like 1 free tow or 2 free tows in a year. But with RV AAA insurance, it's a specific AAA membership.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just 1 tow. They cover a certain amount, and then anything over that amount comes out of pocket.
Right. So all I was trying to ask her was like, how much is it going to cover? And she just kept repeating the same thing over and over, saying, well, AAA will cover $500. And I was like, okay, well, how do you get up to $500? Like, what is that based on? And she just kept repeating, well, they'll cover 500. I was like, okay, I understand that, but where are you getting this number from? Like, how do I know how much it's going to cost?
So I ended up taking the phone and I was like, we're wondering what factors go into that, like where you get that $500 from. Like I broke the question down so clearly to her, and she came back for a third time by saying, ma'am, let me explain this to you. We cover up to $500.
So we're like, you know what? I can't. Well, no.
I said, can I please talk to someone else? So and then we got put on hold again for another 30 minutes.
Right. But then we talked to someone who explained it, saying that the tow company charges a certain amount per hour. And depending on how long your tow takes, that is how much money you're going to get charged.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense now. So if it's $150 an hour and it takes 2 hours, that's $300. So AAA will cover it. But
no out-of-pocket costs. Anything over that comes out of pocket.
Right. So now that we finally got it understood, we're like, okay, can you work on finding us a tow truck? So
also there was another factor. The New York AAA membership, apparently it's different by state, and the New York AAA membership covers $1,000 in a tow. Washington's AAA membership, they cover up to $1,000 in a year, but they can only cover $500 at a time. So you would get like 2 tows at $500 and the rest out of pocket. Whereas New York, you get that full 1,000 in your first tow.
Right. So we still don't even know what it's going to fall under, if it's Washington or New York.
Yeah.
So she said, within an hour, you should be hearing from the dispatcher. Well, 2 hours went by and we hadn't heard anything.
Yeah. So we called back.
On hold 45 minutes.
At least.
At least. Trying to like get in touch with someone to check on it. Someone finally comes to the phone and they said, we're still looking. Apparently what AAA does is you tell them you need a tow truck and they call around the area to get quotes and see who's available. And then
they pick.
And then they decide. Then that company will call you and tell you how much out of pocket you're going to get charged. So they hadn't found anyone to do it yet.
But meanwhile, what we were responsible for was finding the shop that they were towing to.
Right.
So while we were waiting for AAA to find us a person that would tow us, we had to find what shop we wanted to send them to. So that was what we were doing, because it was 3:00 on a Saturday and we needed to find a shop that was within a decent distance so that we did get charged $2,000.
Yeah.
And also one that was actually another layer to this. Not only did we have to find a shop, we knew we weren't going to be able to find a shop that was open and could work on it on Saturday.
Right.
But we then needed to find a shop that was going to answer and at least tell us that they could do it, because AAA covers 1 tow. If they tow it to that location and that location can't do it, you're out of luck. The next tow was out of pocket. So we had to make sure we spoke with the person that was in the shop, and they confirmed we could drop it off and leave it there till Monday when they could work on it, and that they would be able to fix brake lines in an RV.
Yeah, because a lot of shops don't have the size capacity for that.
Yeah.
So we called a bunch of places and they said, no, we don't work on RVs. No, we don't work on RVs. Every time we talked to someone, they said no. So like it was running out of time. We absolutely had to speak to someone. And I finally got in contact with someone that was like an hour away.
Yeah.
Which was not ideal, but it was the only person that answered the phone. And I was like, can you work on RVs? Because this came as a recommendation. He said, yes, they work on RVs. I said, do you work on brake lines? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I'm having it towed here. Can I leave it in the parking lot over the weekend? He said, yes, no problem, no problem. And I asked several times.
Yes.
Because this was costing a lot of money.
And we only got one chance.
And I was like, you're absolutely positive you can fix an RV, brake lines, and I can leave it there? He was like, yup, no problem, no problem.
I'll work on it on Monday.
So I was like, okay, great. We were like, okay, we have the shop. We just have to work on getting a tow truck.
We decided to take the tow truck into our own hands because
after
we're on hour
6 hours, yeah.
It's 98 degrees. I'm on my bed in the back crying. I couldn't tell if it was tears or sweat. I really couldn't. It was so hot. And we were hungry and we were tired and we were worried about our food all going to waste.
And we have nowhere to stay or go or drive or anything.
We also had to call the insurance company because we needed to figure out
the car insurance.
Yes, the
RV insurance. Progressive.
Because we needed to find out if anything would be covered in terms of hotel, food, and things like that.
Because when I signed up for the plan, it said they told me that I have $750 for like an emergency expense. And in my head, okay, the brakes go out on your house.
Yeah.
Essentially. And okay, now where are you going to stay? So I was like trying to call them, but of course it was a Saturday, so I couldn't speak to a claim representative. And they're like, well, the best I can say is just go ahead and do it and just save all your receipts for reimbursement. And I was like, okay, great. So now I'm paying hundreds of dollars out of pocket for hotels and Ubers because we have somewhere to get around.
Yeah.
So that was a whole disaster.
We weren't sure if it was going to be covered because the adjuster wasn't going to be there until Monday to confirm whether this was something that fell under that.
Right. So we just kind of went on a whim and was like, okay, well, let's just hope
for
the best. So I called around a bunch of tow companies, and it was going to be well over $1,000. And I was just like, that is just terrible news, truly.
Yeah. But as long as we were able to keep it under 1,000, we had hope that the AAA New York club would be able to cover it all.
Yeah, well, and I called a bunch of places, and a lot of them wouldn't tow something this size either.
Also that, yeah.
So then, after like going through a few tow companies, I got in contact with someone who said he would come and tow it, and that he could be there like within an hour.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that sounds great. But they weren't affiliated with AAA at all, so it was going to be an out-of-pocket expense.
Yes.
And then,
which then you would submit to AAA
right.
And they could cover it, but in the moment, it's out of pocket.
Yeah.
And it's not guaranteed that they'll cover it.
Right. So then we had to call AAA back to cancel their tow truck search that they clearly were working so hard on. And yeah, we canceled them.
and started packing.
And then finally the tow truck showed up after 8 hours. So it was about, I think it was about probably 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
When he came.
Our sweet tow truck driver.
He was sweet. But I was like texting with him, corresponding for some reason. And I was like, are you able to take 2 people? And he said, no, there's only room for 1. So he pulls up. I am in the truck moving all of his shit around, putting his drink on the floor, moving his clipboard in the back, and I'm putting up the center console, and I just say, get in the car right now.
We just got in.
He was like, what are we going to do? Get an Uber?
1 of us? 2 of us?
No. Absolutely not.
No. So we just decided to get in the truck and see what happens, and he didn't say anything. He was actually very pleasant. He was so sweet. We ended up being in the car for 2 hours.
And it was really only supposed to take 45 minutes because of a major traffic jam.
Mm-hmm.
Dead stopped for over an hour.
So we were in the car with him for 2 hours. He tows us to the shop that we decided to go to in Fife, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful Fife.
And on the way there, he was like,
the first we were hearing of it, he said, well, that's a sketchy neighborhood. And
Yeah.
we were like, great.
Literally, he made it a point to say that it was not a good neighborhood.
Our house is going to be there until Monday.
So we're like
Perfect.
already stressed. Then we're like, okay, well, we can't get a hotel in Fife if it's that scummy. So then we're like trying to find a hotel to stay at. How are we going to get to the hotel after he drops us off in the middle of this sketchy neighborhood in a parking lot?
We decided to ask our sweet tow truck driver if he would drive us to our hotel, which luckily was on his route anyway. So he said yes. But honestly, I think he would have said yes anyway. Yeah. Even if it wasn't on his route. He was so sweet.
It was only like 10 minutes off the road. So we drop off the camper, and
we had to shove the cooler in his truck. Mind you, it barely had room for 2 people. We had to shove our huge igloo cooler in there because we had just gone to the farmer's market.
Spent $150.
Spent a lot of money on meats and fresh produce.
Fish.
And we didn't want it to go bad because it was so hot. We'd been having trouble with our fridge. So we brought the cooler, we shoved it in there, and I was crunched up like a ball on top of the cooler for the ride to the hotel.
But it was free, so it didn't matter.
We made it work.
So he drops us off at the hotel. We were just really happy to be somewhere cool and safe and we could sleep.
Yes, somewhere to sleep. We were a little cranky because we were hungry and tired and it felt like things were just going wrong. But
had we known in hindsight everything was going well.
Well.
Then we woke up the next morning.
And then comes our next hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
Hardship. We decide that we want to go check on the RV. We've been a little bit stressed because we know now that it's in a sketchy neighborhood. So we decided to take an Uber to go to the RV. We have propane so we could cook in the RV, eat some food that we had bought, and kind of just assess the situation, check on everything here, make sure essentially it wasn't ransacked.
Yeah, because I was like worried that someone was going to break in.
Right.
And steal stuff.
So we take an Uber to the RV. We get here. We come inside. It's actually not as hot as we thought it was going to be because we had all the shades down.
Mm-hmm.
But we realized that the fridge was not cold.
No. It was so basically everything in the fridge was destroyed, but the freezer had thawed out, but it was still pretty cold. And there was some meat in there. So I look along the building of the garage and I see there's an outlet. So it's like, oh, that's great. We can go plug in so I can have the fridge running while it's here for the next day and a half. So I get in the driver's seat to move it and I start it up. It sounded like my head smashed against the ceiling. I jumped so high.
I was so startled. I was washing my hands at the sink back here. And I basically jumped out of my shoes. It sounded like a monster truck.
Like the loudest 747 taking off. I have never in my life heard something that loud.
I've never heard anything like that.
And I was like, well, this cannot be good. And then I was like, great, something got ruined when it got towed. The engine blew up or something. Like
literally.
Everything was like worst case scenario. I'm thinking like, great, now I'm gonna have to buy a whole new transmission. Like
the wheels are spinning for sure.
Yeah. So I park it, I turn it off, and I look underneath. And I was like, oh, well, the muffler is like really loose. Maybe that's what it was from.
So then we just assumed that the muffler got knocked during the transit.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, that's one more thing to fix, but oh well.
Right.
Hopefully it's that and not the motor.
Right.
And then also on top of that, the electric outlet didn't actually work.
Right. So we couldn't actually plug it in. So now we're parked in the middle of this parking lot in front of all of the doors, and we just decided to leave it there. We're like, I'm
not going to start it again.
No.
So we took an Uber back to the hotel again.
We had plans with our friend, someone that we had met at Olympic National Park a couple weeks prior. He lived 30 minutes from where we were stuck in Fife. Well,
Yeah.
Federal Way.
Federal Way.
So we had plans with him. When he was done with what he was doing that day, he was going to take us out. We were going to go to dinner and a comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided we were going to push it out of our minds for the evening because there was nothing that we could do about it. It was Sunday now. Nothing we could do about it until Monday. We couldn't even really get a hold of the mechanic. There would really be no point in doing that anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So we decided to just set it aside and enjoy our evening with our friend Petter. And we went back to the hotel, did a little bit of swimming because it was so hot out, and then got ready, and Petter picked us up.
We got ready a little bit, but he brought us back to the camper because all of our stuff was in here and we wanted to change. And on the way to the hotel, I had told Petter what happened when we started the camper. And the first thing out of his mouth was, oh no, I hope they didn't steal the catalytic converter.
As soon as he said those words, they resonated with me where I was like, I guarantee that's what fucking happened.
Well, after hearing it's a sketchy neighborhood, it's like in this parking lot overnight, of course it's getting robbed. So we're like, just great. So we get there. We're like in the camper changing. I look out the door. All I see is Petter's feet underneath the camper. And he goes, oh, fuck.
Unbelievable. He's like, unbelievable. They took it. They took it. And we were like,
he's like, I'm sorry, girls.
I hate people, he said.
Mm-hmm. So the cat was gone.
The cat was gone.
And that's why it sounded like that.
Again, we had to set it aside because there was absolutely nothing that we could do about it until the next day.
Right.
So we decided to go have some dinner. We were absolutely starving. And go to a comedy show, have some laughs.
TJ Murph. Is that his name?
TJ Murph. He was actually really funny.
Very funny guy.
And we housed a burger and some tacos and a salad and chicken tenders.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And dessert. Yes.
So the night out was good, but then when we got back to the hotel, of course, we were like obsessing over it again.
Well, and also this is now the second night that it's been there. The first night we lose the cat.
Yeah.
What else is going to happen now tonight?
Right. So we already got robbed, and now we're leaving there another night. So we're like stressed.
And I'm thinking the person that stole the cat is probably going and telling all their friends there's this. Like, what else are they going to take?
With New York State license plates on it. Like, oh my God. It's like a beacon for robbery. Yeah. So we're like laying about it. We didn't get back to the hotel until like 2. And I'm like, I'm calling the cops.
It's 2 a.m. We're laying down. She's ruminating on this idea of people breaking in. And she's like, I need to call the police.
So I call the police. They ended up being super helpful. And the cop called me. I told them what happened. I told them they got robbed. And then now it's just sitting there. Like, if someone is in the area, can they just please even just move their head to look over there to make sure no one's like messing with it?
Mm-hmm.
So then the cop ended up calling me back himself at 3 a.m, saying that he was headed over there and he was going to sit in the parking lot for a bit and then let everyone else know, like, if they're driving in the area, to just keep an eye on it. He did say it was a rough area.
Second person to tell us that.
So that was whatever. So then, okay, now it's Monday morning. The garage opens at 8. I call them right away, right at 8, to like talk about, well, initially I was going to talk about the brakes, but then I had to tell them about how they stole the cat.
So she calls Buc-ee's and she's like, hi, I have my RV there. And the guy says, we don't have an RV here. Both of our stomachs drop and we're like, someone took it. It's gone.
Someone stole it.
Someone took our RV. But the shop that we went to is called Buc-ee's.
Oh!
And there are multiple of them. It's a chain. He says, this is the Buc-ee's on blah, blah, blah street. And we were like, oh, okay, that's not the right one. He was like, yeah, the other one does RVs. So for a solid couple of seconds, we thought our fucking house was gone.
I literally thought someone got in it and drove it away. I call them right at 8 and I let him know what happened. I said that I'm the one that got it towed there Saturday evening. Someone stole the catalytic converter out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know this because I went there Sunday and found that it was gone. And he's like, okay, let me look at the surveillance footage. So I was like, okay, and he'll call me back. So 10 minutes later, he calls me back, and lo and behold, the camera wasn't pointed at it. Mind you, the parking lot is minute, big enough for probably 5 cars.
Literally a strip of 5 parking spots.
And he's like, well, the camera wasn't hitting it. And he probably thought because I had moved it to try and plug it in, I could see how it wouldn't be in the image then.
Yeah.
But when the thing got stolen, it was directly in front of the garage.
And next to other cars that were parked in front of the garage. So we just had a hard time. It felt suspicious. We had a hard time believing
really suspicious
that there were cameras outside and they weren't pointed directly at the center of the parking lot where all the other cars were parked.
Right. So then he wasn't argumentative, but I was just confused. And I said, okay, well, regardless if it's on footage or not, the catalytic converter was stolen in your parking lot on Saturday night.
We had spent the entire weekend calling as many people as we could to try and figure out what we should do to handle this situation.
Right, and I guess you can do this thing called straight piping, which you don't actually need the catalytic converter. They just put a pipe where it goes and
to
then
get rid of the noise.
Yeah, and then you don't have the noise. But it's not like, it's like a temporary fix. Because if you don't have the cat, then the engine light comes on and blah, blah, blah.
And it won't pass inspection, etc.
Right, but I was not about to pay over $1,000 to get a new one.
Right.
So I basically told him, you need to put a straight pipe in it. And he... I think he was caught off guard. Well, he's like, well, ma'am, I can't do that. I'm going to have to put in a new cat. It's going to be $1,000. I was like, oh.
Immediately off the bat, she says, my cat was stolen on your property. I'm going to need you to straight pipe it, regardless of if you saw it on the camera or not. And then we can talk about the brakes. And he was like, he just immediately said, oh, no, I cannot do that. I absolutely have to put a new cat in and it's going to be $1,000.
Right, like he had already had the estimate ready for me.
Before calling back.
Before, right after he stole it.
So now we're convinced it's an inside job.
We're like, he was the one that stole it. And then he has the audacity to say, I told you not to bring it here. I told you to bring it on Monday. It was a bad neighborhood. And that is when I snapped a little bit. Respectfully, but sternly. I said, you never said that. I would have never paid $1,000 to have my home and only source of anything I have towed to a sketchy neighborhood had you told me that.
Had you said, do not leave it here and bring it on Monday, don't leave it here over the weekend, it's a sketchy neighborhood, yeah, we'll pay $1,000 to bring our house
Yeah,
there.
I'll be right there, thanks. I would have never done that. So I was like, you never said that. I would have never brought it. You will be straight piping it. I know it's not that hard.
I grew up with mechanics. It's not that hard. You're going to do it. And he immediately, his entire demeanor changed. I think looking back at it, he realized that he really did tell us to bring it there. He said, it's fine to bring it here. We'll work it on it on Monday.
Yeah.
Because as soon as she said, you never said that and I never ever would have brought it there, and now I was robbed in your parking lot, he realized it really was actually his fault. That's what I'm assuming, because the way his demeanor changed, it was like he immediately got so quiet and he said, okay, I'll take a look at it. And you were like,
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
So then I hung up with him, immediately called the cops. Because we thought that he was the one that did it. And then all of a sudden it's not on footage.
Yeah, well, and it's not even that we wanted to call the cops on him. We just wanted a third party to go over and look at the footage so that we could confirm that it wasn't on camera.
Right.
So we called the cops. We had said, can you send someone over to the shop and look at the surveillance cameras, because the manager is telling us that our RV is not in the shot of the camera and we're just having a hard time believing that. And the cop had specifically said to us, and we can definitely do that, but just so you know, we've never had problems with this shop before.
Yeah.
So then,
Hold on, I think I need to stop.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Go throw up.
I don't know if I have to. Oh, I haven't.
I'm scared.
I know.
So the police officer says, okay, I'll go over there. Just so you know, we don't have problems with that shop, but I'll go over there and check things out, look at the surveillance, and give you a call back. Not 5 minutes after we hang up with the cops, does the manager of the shop call us back. And he says, and before, which also felt really suspicious, but before he even said anything about the reason that he was calling, he started with, oh, the cops are here.
Like it was like a thought he had in his head that he did not realize he was saying out loud.
Yeah. And he was like, I should probably go over and see why they're here. And Christine said, oh, that's not necessary. I actually called them.
I was like, I called them to come look at the surveillance footage that you claim you don't have.
But she actually didn't say it like that.
No,
she said it really nicely. She was like, oh yeah, it was very matter of fact. It was like, oh yeah, I just called them so that they could take a look at the footage and just second eye.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he was like, he did not even respond to the fact that we said that we called the cops.
No.
He said nothing. He said, okay, well, I went ahead and put a cat in there for free.
And we're like,
mind you, it's 9:30. The shop opened at 8.
And it's busy. $1,000 part.
So he already put in a new cat for free without even calling us and saying that's what he was going to do. He just called and said, I went ahead and put in a new cat for free. Now let's talk about the breaks.
I was like just baffled.
We said thank you. We were like, that is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. And then as soon as he hung up, we were like, they're putting our cat back in.
We were like, he took the cat out and is putting the same one back in. Guarantee
because we were thinking
positive.
Most shops don't have catalytic converters just laying around. But we did find out
that they probably do.
But
everything we thought of later was confirmed that we were wrong.
Yes. So in our minds, someone that he knows took it or he took it. It was an inside job. And now that we called him on it, he's putting our cat back
all of a sudden, don't worry about it. But first it was like, I have to put it in for $1,000. Then it was, I put it in for free.
Without anything in between.
Yeah.
I have to put a cat in. It's going to be $1,000. And
it wasn't even like, I was like, you have to put a cat back in.
No, we didn't even ask him to put a cat in.
Never.
Or anything. We never asked him
because
to
it's
cover
that outrageous.
To ask for someone to do
it.
Yes. It's that crazy to ask a shop to do a over $1,000 job for free. Regardless of if it was stolen from their property. So we never asked for that.
Didn't expect it either.
Exactly. We just wanted them to Band-Aid it up so that we could be on our way.
Right.
Because our mechanic friends told us we would be fine without a catalytic converter. We just wanted the noise to be...
Because that was... You had to stop the noise.
We couldn't even talk. It was so funny because when she first started it and I was back here, I turned to her and was like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, I can't hear you.
I jumped out of the car and was like looking everywhere. I was like, it was just like, it sounded like a drag strip. Like, boom, 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 boom. Like deepest noise you could ever imagine.
It was really startling.
But anyway, so whatever, he went and put the cat in for free. And then he said he was waiting on the brake parts until 1. So I was like, okay, fine. We'll touch base then. Then the cop called back, the one that had went to the store to see the footage. Come to find out, they don't even have any cameras outside.
All their cameras are inside. So now we're even 10 times more suspicious because we're like, okay, you open at 8 o'clock. We let you know that the cat was stolen. You allegedly check the footage, but tell us that the cameras are not pointed at our RV of the whole huge parking lot. Then you put in a cat for free at 9:30. Literally have been open for an hour and a half. Then the cop calls and tells us that you actually don't even have cameras on the outside. You
No.
didn't even tell us that you don't have cameras on the outside. Like, all he could have said was, all our cameras are inside the
Well, he was trying to
garage.
cover his bases. Like, the camera wasn't facing it. Well, no shit. It was facing a fucking wall inside.
So then we're like, oh my God, this guy is so guilty. We're fired up.
Fired up.
So then we called our friend Phil.
Yeah.
And Phil was the one that planted the seed.
He's like, it's an inside job. Not even like considering any other option.
And we take what Phil says with value. So we're like, oh my God, it's an inside job. And Phil's like, I'm pretty sure he was joking, but he was like, yeah, you should check see if they put the same cat back in there.
Well, that wasn't a joke.
He
Honestly.
was seriously?
Well, yeah, because that's how we would know.
No, the $1,000 thing. I don't think he was being serious.
Oh, but the checking after we pick it up, checking to see if it was the same cat.
Well, yes. Yeah. So what Phil had said that got us really
riled up,
our wheels spinning, he said, well, if you pull away and you look under and see that it's your same cat, you call the shop back and you say, go to an ATM right now and give us $1,000 and we won't call the police.
And I'm going to pull up with my hand out the window, not even looking forward. Just give me the money and I'm leaving.
So I'm in the shower, like getting ready for...
Utilizing the benefit of a free shower at the hotel.
Yes. So I'm in the shower and there's the way that the curtain is there's a strip along the top part that's mesh. So it's see-through. It's not clear, but you can see through it. And Christine's got her nose touching the curtain. All I can see is her eyeballs through the mesh as we're plotting how we're going to hold this guy up for $1,000.
Literally. Because at this point, we knew that he did it.
We knew he did it. And we were going to find it out.
We were essentially going to do blackmail.
We were going to blackmail him for $1,000.
And extortion.
Extortion, yes.
Saying, we know you stole it. We won't get law enforcement involved, even though they've already been involved twice. If you just give us the money for it, we'll be on our way.
And we'll be on our way.
So the plan was to go to the shop, pick it up, pay for it, act like nothing happened, be cordial, nice, drive a mile down the road, pull that bitch over, and get right underneath to see if it was the same cat.
Fly underneath.
Fly. I wasn't even going to put it in park. I was flying underneath to see if it's the same one. Because you can tell.
We call our friend Greg.
Yeah.
And Greg is our voice of reason. He really is. We go to Greg whenever we have an insane idea, which is quite often. And we say, how insane is this? Like our customer service call plot that we'll get into another time. But that plot he actually agreed with.
Yeah, because that was a good one.
When he says he's behind something, we go full force. But we were like, okay, we'll call Greg to see if this is insane. Because we kind of knew it was. And he was like, absolutely
I couldn't even finish my breath. He was like, no, absolutely not.
We couldn't even finish the plan. We're like, can you just listen so we can tell you the end? He's like, no, I know where it's going. We didn't even tell him about the calling back to get $1,000. We literally were like, we'll pull over, look under. He's like, no, you're absolutely not. You're leaving.
He's like, you're going to just be grateful for what you got and leave.
And we're like, can you just listen to the end?
It was a good plan.
It was a great plan to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine it was going to go well.
No, that sounds very dangerous. At this point, we're like still ready to do the plan because we're taking an Uber to get to the shop to pick it up because it was done.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there and the guy that I was talking with, he comes out, ends up being really nice, really genuine, really honest.
He was a great guy.
Really was a good guy.
We leaved loving Robert.
We left.
Did I say leaved? we remember that other person said leaved? Rubbed off. We left loving Robert.
Loving Robert. And he like he walks us over and he's like, I put in the free cat, I welded it in, which is like another thing that was like extra.
Yeah,
that you didn't have to do.
A lot of the mechanics that we were talking to were like, they'll probably just, if they do, most people just clamp it in. Mm-hmm. They'll put clamps on it. But then Robert told us that he welded it in there.
Right, which is like another step to like, which was amazing.
And I mean, that's again above and beyond.
Yeah, it was great.
He didn't need to do that.
He said he just felt bad that it happened on his property and like he felt responsible for it, but like he wasn't really telling anyone else at the shop that he did that. So he walks me over. He's like, yeah, I don't know if you wanted to go look at it. And I was like, the whole reason I'm here is so I can look at it.
No, the way he said it was, I'm sure you don't want to get under there. And she goes, oh, no, I actually do. And she pulls her purse off and flies under there.
And it was brand spanking new.
And it was brand new, shining.
Shiny with a fresh weld. So I guess we were wrong. All things that happened ended up working out okay.
Truly, what we kept saying to ourselves, too, throughout the weekend, which it was getting harder and harder to say as more things unfolded, was it could have been so much worse. We could have died. We could have killed others. Or we could have even just in general crashed our home. Like, if we damaged the RV in terms of, like, the RV's body, that could have been really bad, too. So, the only thing that was wrong were the brake lines and the stolen cat, but we didn't know that at the time. But we did just keep reminding ourselves throughout this whole thing that it could have been worse. It could have been worse. So looking back on it, all said and done, it was okay. We did have to pay over $700 for our brake lines, but
but it's $700 to continue the trip and to be alive, and everyone else in that moment was alive.
Yes. Key, we could continue the trip. Right. So I'll be putting my Venmo below.
I still have an outstanding bill of $1,000 for the tow truck.
So
Venmo, Cash App, PayPal.
All will be linked.
Any currency is accepted. Yen, peso. So that
Loonies.
is the story. Loony. If we had missed anything or if you want us to elaborate on anything, please comment. We're more than willing to dive deeper into something.
We love to beat a dead horse.
Yes. That poor horse that weekend. We beat it to death. So
thank you for listening. This closes out another episode.
Yeah.
Or not. You're looking at me like,
no,
there's more.
There's not more. There's more stories.
There's more, but just not for today.
Yeah. So
we actually have to go make dinner and head over to the Gorge in Washington to watch Dave Matthews Band.
Labor Day.
It's Labor Dave.
Labor Dave. Thanks, Lynn. Shout out.
Shout out to Lynn. She told us not to be saying Labor Day.
It's only cool when you say Labor Dave.
Yeah. Only the weirdos say Labor Day. So.
All right. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Bye.
We can't afford a song yet.
Pay for that.